Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
What happened? So while we're there, you probably read it. It was in Drudge, who's great, by the way. Drudge is amazing. But the story in Drudge, and big story, it's all over the place now. Guys swimming across, and big bags of stuff, it's drugs, swimming across the river, right? Swimming right across. And they put the drugs, and actually the camera crew, or the reporters, were petrified because they thought they were going to be killed. Because they're showing this on camera. The guy's carrying bags of stuff. It was drugs.
And on that topic of the drugs, it's not just people coming over, but bringing drugs on a general, let's say a month. What type of drugs do you encounter and what quantities?
The most common is marijuana. We see thousands upon thousands of pounds weekly. We do see a lot of cocaine. We're starting to see heroin and meth a lot more. Usually those were reserved for the ports of entry, but now they started running those across the river as well.
What happened today in particular is that the Border Patrol dropped off some, they call them detainees, but
right.
Obviously they're not detained after they drop them off. Mm-hmm. And normally they have tickets or arranged transportation to go somewhere in the interior. Well, today, apparently for some logistical reasons, some of them hadn't had transportation arranged, or their transportation is tomorrow.
Right.
And so we're having to find places to shelter them for tonight. So we've accessed some resources that we have. We're going to shelter them here tonight.
So why is the Border Patrol bringing them here?
They're not bringing them here. They're bringing them to our bus terminal because that's where the Border Patrol understands that they have transportation to go to the interior.
Right.
So they're dropping them off. It was our understanding that they were dropped off with tickets or with vouchers for tickets. Turns out some of them didn't
right.
have their ticket or didn't have their voucher, or like I said, their bus isn't until tomorrow, so they got nowhere to stay. Our bus terminal, by ours, I mean the city of McAllen, the bus terminal is not a 24/7 operation,
right.
So we've got to put them up somewhere else. So for tonight, we're doing the best we can with this resource, which thankfully one of our neighboring cities made available to us, and we're going to put them up here tonight. Tomorrow we'll have a little chat with the Border Patrol and see what's going on.
Right.
They're supposed to be protecting this border. You mean aiding and abetting? What do you mean specifically?
Actually, what's happening is that the federal government is actually completing the smuggling cycle by having a parent sending their child to the U.S. border, having them smuggled. That is only part of the smuggling cycle.
Okay.
How long was your journey to get here?
It
took us 2 months. We were working and working on the way up until we got here, where we're at. We just want to complete the journey, but we're already tired and thirsty, hungry. Eventually we'll get where we want to go, but it's getting impossible.
As far as the people coming over, are your agents encountering any type of infectious diseases, people with illnesses as they cross the border?
Oh, most definitely. We see tuberculosis pretty regularly, scabies. More often than not, we have large amounts of infectious diseases as far as scabies go. And the interesting part with that is it's not actually seen on the body during the infectious period. And so these people clear through our system and then they go into the rest of the country with that disease. We see a lot of measles, a lot of chickenpox, a lot of unidentified illnesses that a lot of lung infections that we have no idea what they are.
So the state police have just started following us. We get hassled for being out here. We're just talking to, what was her name, Alma down there?
Alma.
Yeah.
Alma Garza.
Where are you headed? Just out.
Just understand that you'd be trespassing if you get out.
Okay, so we can't go anywhere in here at all?
Trespassing against the U.S. government.
Okay, alright, well we'll stay out of there. Thanks.
We're
news or journalists?
I already told them,
Okay.
yes, and they're from Honduras.
From Honduras?
Mhm.
How long have you been traveling?
¿Cuánto tiempo llevan viajando? Un mes? A month. They've been traveling for a month now.
When did they get into the U.S.?
¿Cuándo llegaron a los Estados Unidos? Acaban de cruzar. Sí, they just crossed.
Well, you know, 1 in 5 people that we catch has some type of criminal history here in the United States. On top of that, we only catch 40% of what's coming across in this area. So that's 20% of what we catch are known bad guys. You can only imagine what the other 60% of people that are coming across, who they are or what their plans are. We have no idea. The interesting part is they're not staying here in the Rio Grande Valley. A lot of these folks are using it as a waypoint to move forward, whether it's the people themselves or drugs. It's all going through the area, and it's going into larger communities like the San Antonios, the Austins, the Dallas, all the way up to Virginia, Maryland, D.C., Chicago. They're all headed that way.
Last night, and before we know it, 2 state wildlife fish refugee people or whatever pull up, detain us, and then we had to sit up and wait on another federal agent to come in who is a federal state and wildlife officer. They took my 2 firearms, my 2 Springfield 1911s. They took Zimmerman's gun, a Springfield XD that he had holstered. He has his concealed carry permit and open carry, all that on him. I left mine in the car. And so we're being questioned for being out there. And our whole thing is like, hey man, the police just escorted us out here. And literally they sent us down there and then left and screwed us over. And now the federal agents detained us we've been standing out in the freaking sun for the last 2 hours being questioned about stuff. Do what?
So hot, yeah.
So hot.
Oh, it's like 100 degrees outside, and like everybody's on the verge of about ready to throw up because we have no water. Luckily, towards the end, at the end of the ordeal, they finally gave us some water. But
people desperate for staples like milk, rice and flour stormed a supermarket warehouse in Guayana City.
If you go back to 2007, the British Ministry of Defense came out and echoed a Department of Defense report saying that they believe there would be massive multi-100% food price increases worldwide, and that during that global meltdown that there would be incredible social unrest that would depopulate much of the earth. Now, Vice magazine and other publications are reporting on a 2015 report produced by the U.S. government, the UN. Cut. Let's stop it right there. I shot that video, that special, about a week and a half ago, before Hillary Clinton was basically given free rein in the United States of America to break any law she wants. Before more news came out of food riots intensifying in Asia, Latin America, Africa, the Middle East, you name it. Before we got more news of NATO plans to encircle Russia with more troops. Bottom line, ladies and gentlemen, the world financial economy is melting down by design. Everything the globalists are doing is about making us dependent on them. That's why, declaring personal independence, I am announcing that we're extending the record sales of 20 to 40% off on water filters and X2 Survival Shield, and of course, the survival food. I'm extending the 20 to 40% off for 1 more week, and then that's it. But I'm expanding it when it comes to non-GMO heirloom seeds, all sorts of systems to jump your car or to give yourself power during emergencies, and on solar panel systems, and on shortwave radios that are solar powered and crank powered. So we're going from a few dozen items that are discounted to more than 100 right now at InfoWarsStore.com. And we're running it right through to the beginning of next week. It is the biggest sale ever on preparedness and survival systems, because the globalists want us totally dependent on them. We need to be independent ourselves, or at least start that journey. But there's another aspect of this that makes it an absolute no-brainer. When you get the high-quality non-GMO seeds, open pollinated heirloom, when you get high quality water filtration systems massively discounted, or nutraceuticals, when you get high quality storable foods, you're not just making yourself more independent, you're also funding Infowars, that is just breaking international news every day and really giving the globalists a major run for their money. So you don't just get great prices, you don't just support the Infowar, you support yourself and your family at the same time. It's an absolute no-brainer. I want to thank all of you that have come to InfoWarsStore.com and who have supported what we're doing, and I want to encourage those of you that haven't, check it out today. It's a total 360 win at InfoWarsStore.com.